podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
All right, this is the weekend pod with Dan. How's it going?
Not bad. I mean, I just had a moment. It's funny how football works and that United come from behind to win, but I spent the afternoon doing the minute-by-minute of Newcastle-Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I needed that in my life. I was also on it when Alisson scored that goal against West Brom, the header.
Right.
And I swear to God, I saw that happening. I saw that ball coming onto his head before everyone in the world, including him, because I saw him come up. I knew it was going to happen. And I knew that I was going to have to feign excitement and thrill at this tremendous happening.
What a moment.
And I knew it was going to happen. So as the ball's come across, I've seen it. And I mean, it was, in fairness, a brilliant header. But and then obviously this also happened, which I guess has the slight sweetener of making Eddie Howe upset and the Kingdom of Saudi and the various Kingdom of Saudi Arabia honchos unhappy too. So there is that, but I'm not about to set Liverpool up somehow as the forces of good. So
no, not going to do that. And I mean, I'm not suddenly going to pretend that this means Liverpool's in a title race. Their back four is too much of a mess to seriously be that. I think. I mean, Van Dijk just showed like his post-Pickford self there by hacking down Isaac. So I saw a lot of people complaining about that. I was like, how? What? How? Well, whatever. But yes, Beheady Eddie being upset is all good.
Jamie Carragher says at half-time, he says, well, we don't know it was a goal-scoring opportunity because we didn't see what happened because it was all on the next touch. Well, that's the point, isn't it? So Andros Townsend goes, we didn't get to see it because Andros Townsend's excellent. Yeah, he really, by the way, really says, speaks like a pro who's played in the game right in this era in the way that he speaks. Right. He speaks about football in a modern way with insight that I don't think Carragher has anymore because things have moved on and it doesn't massively feel like he's moved on with them. And yeah, Townsend just rings around him. He's also just obviously a really intelligent guy. But
yeah,
the comparison with Carragher and Given was to his credit that he managed to keep doing such a good job without just banging their heads together.
That's football punditry all round. There's so few of the quality pundits, isn't there, that'll actually provide some insight rather than like just kind of platitudes.
Sorry, just to finish that point, they do have insight. And I think I can just see myself sitting back. Sorry, people. I am trying to sit right on top of my microphone so the audio isn't variable. But you should know that you are not the first people to complain about my inability to sit still. Anyway, the thing is, what I always think about when I watch the guys from Carragher's sort of generation and below, they're always hammering mentality. And people use it as a stick with which to beat them, to say, well, it's a load of bollocks, football's moved on. No, lads, it hasn't. And every time you hear the Liverpool players talk about why they won today, they're not talking about Darwin Núñez's finishing, they're talking about mentality. Listen to the way Ten Hag speaks about United. He speaks so often about mentality, and he did it after the game, we'll come to it, did it after the game yesterday. So yeah, I think that I don't want to slam that era of pundits as having nothing to contribute to punditry, because I think it's bollocks. And implicit within saying it is that I know more about football than these people do, and I don't.
No. I think the thing is with the mentality argument, it can kind of be, it feels like it's been very reductive, doesn't it, in the analysis, if you're like, it's all about mentality, lads, passion and all of that. And I know what you're saying, that's not what they're saying, but it does feel like it's being simplified down to something more, and I don't know whether more insight could be given on, like, what exactly do they mean by mentality?
Oh, I agree, 100%. And we saw, like, Darwin Núñez, for example, we saw Darwin, like, the goals that he scored, right? They are an expression of mentality in that he showed some composure for which he is unrenowned, where he gets put through twice, and on both occasions he takes a touch, has a look, and then smashes a finish. Whereas last season felt like it's only one game, so hopefully he'll go back to the Nunez of last season. But in the meantime, that mentality doesn't just mean like shouting and threatening and cajoling. It means the ability to be calm or to be still under moments of intense pressure, and the ability to perform under it, and how you do it, and all those things. That will always be a significant part of elite level sport, and will often separate the people that make it from those that don't, rather than just like actual technical talent.
All right, so let's move on to United, because the mentality was good after gifting Forest 2 goals. I mean, like, if you watch those 2 goals back, first minute, third minute, they're 2 of the worst goals you could possibly concede. I mean, just unbelievable.
Well, they would be if we hadn't seen it before.
Exactly. United's propensity to concede those absolutely thick as fuck goals over and over again is just incredible. And that's nothing to do with systems. That's all individual errors. From United's corner, Forest won 3 50-50s in a row. And then Onana picked up Dave's concrete boots and decided to sit himself down in the 6-yard area, which was surprising for a man who likes to wander around the halfway line. And then on the second goal, I'm just like, there's 3 of them there. Not one of them has jumped with him. And like, Bowley didn't even have to jump. It hit him in the face and went in. I mean, it was shockingly bad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, here I go. I'm sitting back again. But I'm leaning back on that occasion to register how ludicrous this behaviour was from United. And if that does not deserve some slightly hampered audio, I don't know what does. But yeah, the goal, I mean, it was that Istanbul Başakşehir goal again. I'm sure we've seen it also once since then as well, and almost seen it on a few other occasions. I feel like a bit of it was what you said, the lack of intensity, so they lost those 50-50s. But what was Marcus Rashford doing where he was? Because I think also a defender, because Awani held on to it for so long, by the time Rashford actually gets back, a defender probably makes the tackle. Yeah. Instead of going for the ball, they put a leg in front of the ball and get in the road. I'm sure Wan-Bissaka, if that had been him, would have stopped him from scoring.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, but it's odd. It's odd, yeah.
It didn't feel like the setup was right. And that is something that is a managerial problem too. And 100% agree with Onana. And it wasn't just then. There was another one-on-one in the second half, I think it was, where he doesn't take command of the situation, and they end up not scoring. But it's not really because of him forcing them to.
Yeah.
I mean, he did redeem it. Made a good save at the end. But I thought that was probably his worst game of the 3 so far.
Yeah, I mean, just backpedaling, and then just not really doing anything, and then he dived over the ball. So the more you watch it, the worse it seems, that first goal.
It feels quite early for like the infection of United, of post Fergie Wilderness years United to have set in. I can't believe that it's like already robbed him of his ability for independent thought, decisive action, and general competence. It just fucking seems unlikely.
Let's hope not.
You just don't know. It's powerful shit.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, like going back to the mentality, United did come back strongly in this game. And really, it's only... Well, they could have blown it right at the end because they didn't manage the 11 minutes of injury time very well at all. I mean, I don't think there was one attempt to run into the corners and slow the game down and hold on to possession, just kept giving it away and throwing men forward. And they definitely could have blown it in that. And it was very odd.
They looked like they wanted to.
They really did.
Just because I've seen that with this team a lot. It looks like they want the bad thing to happen so that they can stop worrying about it happening, or if there's enough time, just try and resolve it. And so with this game, they got lucky that the disasters happened right at the beginning, because it felt like that focused us. And at no point watching the game, or even immediately when it happened, you don't at any point think that Forest are winning that game 2-0 or 2-1. It might be 2-2, they might score again or whatever, but you know that over the 6,000 minutes plus that are to come, including injury time, United will definitely score twice. You think? Yeah, I felt fairly sure about that.
Yeah, if we're going to be playing this much injury time, I worry for Casemiro because he looked like he was 40 by the end of that game. I mean,
do we look like that? Because also,
no, I'm young and sprightly. I don't.
Do you think that's why he's had that haircut? So people think that he's 17. It's like Tony Castorino wrote in his book that as he came to the end, he started dyeing his hair because it's important that the manager doesn't think of you as someone who looks old. And Casemiro's gone and got the spikes, the tram line, which if he hadn't got the spikes had that quite so short, or used perhaps slightly less product, he might have been able to put a head on that ball that went across the goal. But instead,
oh my God,
slid off him.
What a horrendous miss that is.
But I agree with your point about the extra time. Like, it does make a difference if when there's 80 minutes to go, you've actually got to play another 20.
Yeah, well, that's right. And look, I mean, he may have been hampered by an injury, although he got up, so he can't have been that injured. Comes to the goals, I mean, that's exactly for the first goal, United's first goal, exactly why you want Rashford on the left. Ball in front of him, attacking a player. Brilliant run, what we expect of him. Simple tap in for Christian Eriksen, who somehow managed to get himself in the box.
I think that's harsh, actually.
It was a good finish.
Tapping. I thought it was a really good finish. I mean, you'd want him to score there, but the dexterity of getting the ball to where he got it from the way his body was positioned was difficult. Yeah. And what we saw with Rashford is it's just that ability to go on the outside. It took him a while to do it because he wanted to get towards the goal, but his pace is such, and now he's also got a bit more power too, that he can do that to almost any defender. Probably any defender, because even the ones that can match him for pace, by the time they've turned, it's too late. And the goal, I mean, it was funny. I watched it on a stream, and the weather in London yesterday and everywhere else in England, sort of around the period of the game, was horrendous. So the stream it was a mate's Fire Stick, and it was going in and out. And sometimes it would pause, and you'd have like a while to assess the situation. And that was an occasion where that happened. Like with the ball, Rashford got the ball, and Martial could have turned it in, and Eriksen was free then. And I was shouting at Martial. I was just saying, Martial, look where Eriksen is. He can turn the ball, and he doesn't. It goes to Rashford, and then the thing stops for about 5 minutes, and then comes back on, and I see that we've scored, and we had scored from that situation. But the maddest thing about it was it kept jumping back. So there was a cross that Anthony hit that sails past the back post, and I was thinking. I'm saying, hang on, I've seen that cross so many times before, but also I've seen that cross so many times, and mean slightly different things, but he was much better, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, just having a focal point there, even at Martial wasn't very dynamic at all. I mean, he made it to, I don't know, what did he make it to, 60 minutes or so, which is good for him. So, but at least having a forward there. Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
a good way of describing him. He is undynamic.
There's not much of him left, is there? Post all these injuries,
shot, doesn't he? Physically,
yeah. And they can't up the intensity because he'll break. So it looks like he doesn't trust his body. He's not, and he's physically he's at his peak. He's like strong, fast. He had it. He's not as fast as you'd want him to be, but he's quick enough. But he doesn't want to sprint. I mean, he was never mad about that. But he doesn't want to run at anyone. It's just he's there to try and hold it up a bit and knock off touches. Now he's not that interested in doing anything else. But I agree that having him there is better than having Rashford on the left is better. I still think Rashford should be able to play centre forward, but he's much better on the left. The team's better with him on the left. So here it is. Yeah. And I guess it seems like we're going to get Rasmus Højlund back for the Arsenal game. So, I mean, he's not going to start that one, is he? And we'll see whether Martial can play 2 games in back-to-back weekends. Seems unlikely.
It's easy for us to say, but I would be so fucking tempted to start Højlund in that game. Just with strikers, just things happen. Like Ruud scored twice on his debut.
Yeah.
York scored twice in his first home game. I think that with the buzz of that kind, like Anthony started the Arsenal game. It's different with Hoyland's been injured, obviously, and we don't know how fit he will or won't be, and need to obviously we can't lose him. But given we don't have a centre forward, the answer to a lot of managerial dilemmas like this, and really in the end, is what would Fergie do? And I think we know exactly what Fergie would do. And
yeah,
if we think he's fit for an hour, to properly play at a good level for an hour, I would be picking him for an hour.
Yeah, I had no idea if he got any pre-season at all. So that may factor in. I mean, if he's 10 games behind the rest of the team, then he probably won't be given an hour. But we'll see about that one. It's definitely. I mean, look, don't know whether he's going to be any good or not at this level. We'll find out. But just having a focal point there and get players around him is much better. It's better for Bruno as well. He's actually got someone to play off. Bruno was like he's dynamic best yesterday. I don't care about the moaning. I just want him doing stuff, and he creates a lot of stuff.
The idea, like the talking about him moaning, the moaning about the moaning, is absolutely batshit. It really, really is. You've got this bloke who basically almost single-handedly for a bit made this team not totally unacceptable, whose numbers, I think, would it be right in saying that yesterday was the 12th time he'd scored and assisted in the game? I can't remember if it was 12 or 21, but either way, it's more than anyone else. Scored and assisted in the same game. His numbers since he joined United are outrageous. He obviously is the team's leader on the pitch. He's obviously a leader on the training pitch. He's got work ethic. He's got mentality. He's got brilliance. And him bitching at the ref is this thing that tells us that he shouldn't be captain. I wouldn't have been asked particularly if they'd have given it to Martinez or whatever. It's not. I'm not wedded to the idea of him being the captain, though I think he's earned it and the right person for it. It's the idea that captaincy isn't in any sport, bottom line, about delivering. For all Roy Keane no one would have given a shit about Roy Keane shouting if he wasn't turning in minimum 7 out of 10 performance almost every single week, and usually better than 7. And the thing that unites all the captains, Robson, like his stuff was on the pitch. I'm sure he had a few words and whatever, but it's the way he did on the pitch. Schmeichel, Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, Dennis Law, Bobby Charlton, Martin Buchan. We could keep naming names. All the people who captained United with success, Eric Cantona, have done so because their level of performance was the thing that people found inspirational. So,
and took them along. Yeah, there was a tradition in Italy of always giving the captaincy to basically the oldest player, and a kind of bemusement that English captaincy was about the shouty bit. But I think you're right. A captain has to be a leader on the pitch foremost. Their performances have to be stand out. Their performances have to be something to look up to and copy, and so on.
Even in cricket, right, where the captain has a lot of input beyond just playing, is deciding the tactics, picking the team more or less, deciding the tactics, field settings, bowling changes, batting orders, everything. Yeah. Ben Stokes couldn't be getting away with Bazball if he wasn't performing. Or you have to be consistent, and you have to perform in sports that rely much more on captaincy than football. So, yeah. Anyway, as you say, he was, again, he wasn't good at the first 2 games of the season, but that was a proper performance. And you even the presence, not the presence of mind because it was a rehearsed move, but the way he was there to nod the ball across for the second goal, which is another really nice goal.
I finally our set piece coach is paying off, I guess. It's only taken like 2 years, but no, it was a lovely move, and I think we should shout out to the rule makers at FIFA who decided that being 5 yards offside like Casemiro was is no problem because it already sets on the second phase. So thank you guys. I always knew that second phase passive onside was a thing I would look up to in this game. Yeah, but yeah, it was like you could. I mean, it's perfectly legal goal, of course. I mean, and they've created the rules like that, of course, to give an unfair advantage to the attacking side so we get more goals. But he was miles offside and clearly gaining an advantage. But yeah, I mean, great.
What I liked about that goal, what I thought was clever, maybe it was, or maybe it just happened that way, is that if it had been the other way around, so if Rashford takes the free kick and knocks it to Bruno, if Rashford then runs to the far post, and Bruno's on the ball, I feel like the opposition know what's going to happen because he's going to pick that pass. But because it was the other way around, it's Bruno on the end of it and Rashford, who you don't think is going to hit that pass, hitting that pass. I don't know if that is like deliberate disguise or if I'm just inventing that because I want to think that they're thinking about things. I don't know, but either way, it was really nicely done.
I mean, it's a brilliantly weighted pass from Rashford as well. I mean, outstanding.
What I also liked was that Casemiro wasn't the only other man in the box. Lindelof was there as well. And one of the problems I've had with this team over years is too few men in the box. And that if they can sort that out with the players that they have, they're going to score a lot of goals.
Yeah, right. And the interesting thing with Casemiro, especially with his, I would say, waning physicality, or what feels like waning physicality, and the balance of the team may well be, as you've said before, he may well perform better in sort of attacking areas of the pitch than defensive ones, because he looks troubled when he's on his own there. It's actually, funny enough, better balance with Eriksen, who's been more disciplined than Mount. So I'm not saying Mount can't find that discipline, but in the first couple of games he wasn't, and he was in Bruno's zone, not really alongside Casemiro, which is what he's got to do if he's going to play 8. Whereas Eriksen doesn't have the lungs to get up and down the pitch anymore, so he stays in a more disciplined position most of the time, except when he scored, of course. Yeah,
I reckon that if Mainu is as good as Ten Hag thinks he is, then the best midfield is probably him, Casemiro and Bruno. Because that's the only one with probably, I think, like the physicality and nous and flexibility to be able to compete with the best teams and protect the defence properly. Because otherwise, otherwise we're stretching. Unless Mount becomes becomes a different player or can do stuff that we've not seen him do often enough to be able to say he can do it. Unless he does that, and maybe that's the plan, or maybe that I mean,
it has to be the plan, doesn't it?
Otherwise we're stretching. Otherwise, we're like a board man with a comb over it. Really, we're just trying to cover something because any other midfield that we have would be lacking something very obvious.
Yeah. Like how many years do you reckon you've got before you have to do the comb over, Dan? So, how many years have I got?
I don't know. I would say that like I'm doing all right from like the bits that can't be seen. If you'd have offered me what I've got now when I was 17, I would have beat your hand off and anything else that you wanted biting off for that. Yeah, I would have been delighted. So I saw a picture of myself sort of like 3 years ago the other day and thought, oh man, I definitely had much more hair then. But
sad state of affairs, isn't it? So, and then what else did we have in the game? We had the red card, which Forest apparently complaining to PGMOL about. I'm not sure how. I mean, that was a red card 20 years ago, let alone now when they're loving to dish him out this season. So, unless I'm missing something, it seemed fairly obvious.
I think once it's given, then it's staying given. I would not mind if you didn't get a red card for that, because I felt, could I be sure that it was a goal scoring opportunity? Probably not. But once you've said that it was, then, and you have to prove it the other way. I see both sides of that. Yeah. The penalty, I don't see both sides of that at all. But this one, I see both sides. And what I particularly enjoyed about this and the penalty, I love Steve Cooper's coupon at all times. He's just got a look of like total disgust at the world on his face almost all the time. So when he's actually disgusted, and you see that, it's just it's gewaltig, as they say in Yiddish.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious a penalty. I don't know why there's an attempt to create some kind of controversy other than it fills airtime, column inches and whatever. But he's gone past his man and been clipped, even if it is light brushing of the knee. I mean, Gary Lineker got one not dissimilar to that in the '99 World Cup, didn't he? Going around the Cameroonian defence. So it's been a penalty forever, that kind of thing.
It was the thigh. The thigh caught the heels. It was like that Pelistri one the other day. That
I mean, that was even more blatant.
That was more. I can't see how when you actually see what happened, you're still saying that isn't a penalty, and it is. And yeah, he took it really well. The keeper, it looks like the keeper's all quite close to it, but actually, that when you see it, so I saw it slowed down, maybe from behind. The balls hit the net before the keeper's anywhere near it.
Oh yeah, the pitch side cam on that one's great actually. Just how hard and cleanly he hits it. I'd do myself a hernia if I tried to hit the ball that hard, I think. But no, good pen from Bruno. And elsewhere in the team, Anthony did a few more things. I mean, of course, the cross that you had to watch 75 times on your dodgy stream, crap. He did pull off his one trick, because he is very much a one-trick pony, of bending into the far corner. Good save from Turner there. So it was actually, if you look back on this, excellent save. So.
Yeah, at the risk of, I don't know, destroying any credibility had I ever had any, which I haven't. Danny Murphy's analysis on Match of the Day, I thought, and Anthony was quite good. That he was much better. He was threatening to go on the outside. He did go on the outside. He was making better decisions with the ball. I think that people can find stats about Anthony. Obviously, he hasn't scored. He scored one league goal since his third game, which is a bit harsh, and it takes away the two that he scored immediately, as though they're not relevant. But he hasn't scored enough goals, but he has played well. I guess, will he ever be good enough such that? Will he be a good enough player to place United for the next 5 years in that position? Can he get as good as we want him to get?
Yeah, I don't know. But he's costing United about 30 million euros a season in their FFP calculation, so he kind of has to.
But do I think he's got the ability to become a really good player? Yes.
Yeah. He definitely needs more output. And look, there's plenty of examples of players who had low output earlier in their careers and managed to generate more, but more goals, more assists, more passes. All of the stuff, the attacking metrics are quite low. So,
but he hasn't got a fullback as good as Luke Shaw, getting him the ball.
Yeah,
often he hasn't always had a good midfield player playing near him, and he's never had a centre forward. So, again, we're coming back to the fact that probably, for our season to be really good, Højlund and Mainu have got to both deliver something.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about it in the bonus. We're going to do what might happen with United this week. But so everything is notwithstanding, maybe we're going to sign 16 amazing players in the next week. But
seems unlikely.
If it feels like Mount isn't going to have the ability to really change things that much, and if that's the case, then those two, Mainu in particular, it seems mental to say it, and it is, but we are going to need probably 20 really good games from him, and we're going to need some goals from Højlund, because there aren't enough goals elsewhere.
No, definitely on the goals thing and on the balance of the team. I mean, I think you're right. It's kind of hoping, isn't it? Because we don't have the evidence yet that Mainu is going to be able to perform at Premier League level and with the intensity and physicality and all of that. We just see the raw materials and hope. But United's balance isn't quite right at the moment. So it's definitely, we're hoping for Ten Hag to transform Mount into something he's never been. In a way, he tried to transform Eriksen into something he had never been. Or Mainu is on express track towards being in the first team. Or United sign another midfielder this week and do 5 pieces of business on the way out, so in order to afford it.
I do know that after this game, Ten Hag was wearing a cardigan.
Oh dear, was he a bit cold? So
It's not. I don't know. I don't think the manager of Manchester United should wear cardigans. I mean, someone's probably going to send me a photo of Fergie wearing a cardigan and Matt Busby wearing and all the rest of it. But so I'm good. And in this day and age, yeah,
you're not having that. He does have an air of sort of professor, doesn't he, at a regional university? He likes a shirt. I don't think I know if I'd seen him wear a cardigan before. So, but
I feel like you would remember such an infraction. I mean, in his interview was quite good. I thought he seemed genuinely like quite pleased with how they played, and it's a bit that it smacks a little bit of Arsene Wenger, who would always talk about mental strength, because he knew that they sort of didn't have it, and it felt like he was trying to drum it into them that they had it by mentioning it all the time. And he talked about them keeping their composure and stuff, whatever. And I think that they did. And I felt like so dreadful that I'm going to say this, but at the beginning of the second half, they huddle, right? And I hate that shit. I'm probably just being like old man, but I don't know. It just feels so contrived. I think it's that. Though, and I wouldn't mind at all if they just stood there and had the same conversation. And I know the huddle obviously makes it intimate and more visceral, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just rugby union or something. But they huddled at the beginning of the second half, and I thought, okay, like that. It feels like the team that doesn't often look fired up felt like, okay, maybe you're fired up now, and they did get it done. So yeah, good.
Look, they were excellent. Apart from the horrendous first 4 minutes and the ridiculousness of the 2 goals, and the last 10 minutes where they did their very, very best to give the ball away, I can't believe Ten Hag would be happy about that. It was a good performance against an OK Forest side who I think will probably survive, but they're not going to be anywhere other than the bottom third of the league table. Maybe they have some more stability now. They haven't brought 20 players in this summer.
Gibbs White's a good player.
He's a good player, yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah, plenty of talent there, yeah. So, and all in all, this is United needed this win, obviously. I mean, it's clearly going to be a level up for next weekend. It's going to have to be much, much better, especially given that Arsenal seem to have the mentality thing down at the moment. Another comeback win for them. No, not a comeback win. Comeback draw. Sorry. Comeback draw. What am I talking about?
They were caked back upon. They had them.
Yeah. All right. Scratch that last 30 seconds because that was complete nonsense, clearly. I was following that on text rather than on the video. I really wish I'd seen little Mickey Arteta's face when that one went in.
And his little trousers.
Live, yeah. His little tight little trousers, yeah.
I mean, I can't wait and lie. Like, in the back of my mind, I'm enjoying it, but I'm thinking, come on, dickheads. Like, because we're not stopping 4 in a row. Let's be honest, we're not.
No.
It seems, I mean, some very odd things would have to happen, I would say, to this team for us to be capable of getting involved properly in this. So every time Arsenal lose, or don't win, or draw even, you're thinking that's a problem. But here we are.
I think City are going to win the league by more than 10 points. And you can all clip this one because everyone else, because it's quite tight behind, there's a lot of teams at a very similar level. Maybe Arsenal are a little better than everyone else, but it's not 20 points better. So everyone's going to take points off everyone this season, and City will get 90 and second place will get 80. So
I remember that Arsenal remind me a little bit, and hear me out, of United in the summer of 2007. Because what happens is United win the league 06-07, but by the time they get to the Champions League semi-final against Milan, they're knackered. Like, I think Ferdinand doesn't play either leg of the semi, and Vidic plays maybe the first game, misses the first game, comes back for the second. He's not fit, and we get splattered. So we should have won the champion. We were the best team in Europe at our best that season. I think that's one that got away from me. And what Fergie does in the summer is he goes and buys a squad. He buys Anderson, Nani, and Hargreaves. And what that means is he has loads of players he has to give games to, while making sure that he picks the right players for the right games and keeps the balance, and you keep winning. And obviously, Furky went and goes and wins the league and the European Cup, and was coming from a higher base having won the league. But it feels like Arteta's done that this summer. He's now got options, and options are good. But when you've got all of them available to you, you suddenly have to do quite a lot fucking more management. And Fergie's genius, one of his many aspects of his genius was not just the human resources management, but the husbanding of resources. And obviously it's related to the fact that all the players wanted to go and perform for him, but picking the right players in the right games, even though you know it's not your strongest team, and the team you pick if you had to pick one team, if your life depended on it, but constantly getting that right. And that's now a question that Arteta has to answer. And I mean, it's early to say how it's going, but Arsenal haven't played that well yet this season. They seem to think they played better in that Palace game than I did. I mean, obviously, they tried to make out in the celebration it was one of the great rear guards. And it was, and it's like, I understand why. It's very powerful. If you can get yourself believing that, that's very powerful.
Yeah, sure.
Next time you're in that situation. But watching the game, trying to be dispassionate about it, Palace were missing players, and Arsenal, I would say they got away with it because Palace hardly created anything, but it wasn't. You're happy to win 1-0, but if sometimes it feels like, do you know that you didn't play well there also? But anyway, we'll see what happens.
Arsenal still got to work out the balance of their team and squad. I mean, they're stronger in depth than they were last season, and maybe they'll be better for that, especially if they got injuries. Obviously, the Saliba injury really fucked them last season. So there's still a question of they spent 100 million on David Raya and Kai Havertz, and I'm wondering exactly what the point of either of those purchases was. Raya was on the bench yesterday. Yeah.
So Raya, I guess Arteta likes him. He'd get him for more or less nothing. So thinks, well, I'll decide. Thinks he might be better than Ramsdale. So he'll see what happens. And can probably sell him for more than he costs. So that'd be my guess. And Havertz has got a lot of talent. Seen it. I saw it when he was at Leverkusen. He's got ridiculous ability.
Yeah. But they're still not going to play him in that position he was at Leverkusen.
So Arteta obviously thinks that he can convert him into something else. If that's the case, then we need to give it a bit of time to see how that pans out.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. It felt like, sure, is there someone else you could get to do that better? But I can see why why someone with Havertz's ability and strength seems a good option, I guess.
Yeah. All right, too much talk about Arsenal, although we are playing them next weekend, so that's fair enough. I mean, since we're on it, any tactical changes for United for next weekend? I do worry about how lightweight we're in midfield. I mean, Mount's definitely out. He's out for a few weeks. Shaw's definitely out for a few weeks. That's a pretty big blow, given that Malacia's already out, and Diogo Dalot is even worse at left back than he is at right back. It's just how to shore up that midfield is a big question for me. So,
yeah, I think that pending incomings, if there aren't any, I hate to say it, but I think it doesn't feel like you should go into that game and not pick McT, because you're sort of, unless you think that you can be proper solid in how you configure it with Eriksen, Bruno and Casemiro, that you're sitting, then I guess you could, if Eriksen and Casemiro play in a 2 and sit, then you might be able to get enough good possession to score a couple of goals. So I don't know.
I do worry about United on the transition with those two in midfield. I mean, we've already seen it, right? It was so open. Well, both with Mount in there and Eriksen against... No, it was Mount against Tottenham, wasn't it? But and on the opening day against Wolves, where they're both really open all the time.
Arsenal quite open as well.
They are, but they're so dangerous in transitions. Whether it's Martinelli, Saka and Jesus or Nketiah or Who played there yesterday? I forget now.
It was Notts and Nketiah. Trossard played, and then
Trossard played there.
Then
Yeah,
Nketiah
through the
came
middle.
on.
Yeah. I guess they're going to try and flog Balogun in the next week or so.
Is that not done? I thought he's gone to Monaco. I thought
he's gone to Monaco. Is it done? Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I thought it was, but I mean, it's been reading, hearing, seeing about it for so long without actually taking anything in the constant stream of mindless information. But it's
for a Fabrizio Romano will tweet that 75 times with a dodgy head swap. I have no idea whether anything's real anymore. So. Anyway, look, that's where United win or lose, whether they get the midfield balance right. And it would be awesome if Højlund is actually fit. Maybe they can find a midweek behind closed doors game again to give him some reserve time. I'm not sure.
For him to get injured in.
For him to get injured again, wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. Left back is a real problem as well, though, because Shaw's been such a... I mean, he looked dodgy the first 2 games of the season. You're just worrying he's not going back to casual Shaw that hasn't got any competition, but he is a big loss from an attacking point of view, just a huge loss. And Diogo Dalot is not that.
No, he's. I mean, it's trying to get by with a less good player. That's we don't have a squad where there are replacements of similar standard, and so that you can work your way to saying that Dalot could do a job for you at left back. I mean, he's going to have to, and Saka wants to come inside, and he's going to be coming inside on Dalot's stronger side. But I'd prefer.
It's going to take a lot of rationalisation, that one.
Yeah, I know. I'd prefer it wasn't the case. Oh man,
awesome. Well, I guess that's kind of it for the week, isn't it? We've got a week off. No, it's a strangely quiet start to the season. I'm sure there's used to be a few midweek games at the beginning of the season, but they haven't been this time round.
For years, there'd be Saturday and then Tuesday or Wednesday immediately afterwards. I don't know why they stopped it, but they did. But that was always, I guess I can think of loads of games like Bradford 6-0. There was Blackburn, maybe. There's Blackburn 2-2 game from Veron. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be a television-related reason. Perhaps they just don't want to play that many games when people are on holiday.
Yeah, who knows? Don't know. It was a fairly early start to the league season, wasn't it? So 6th of August. All right, that's it for the main show. Backers, patreon.com/NQAT pod. We're going to do the bonus show. We're trying to be regular about this one this season because that was the feedback. I was like, what do you want, guys? And they were like, just give us the content regularly. We're going to talk about transfers because that's all we'll be talking about for the next 5 days, I guess. So everyone else, we'll see you probably for a midweek pod. And thank you very much for listening.
Cheers.
No question about that. It's supported by you, our listeners, through patreon.com/NQAT pod, where you can get access to our weekly ad-free bonus episode talking about football around the Premier League and Europe. All right, backers, thanks for your support as always. So this is the Backer Show. We're going to talk about transfers. We don't do a lot of transfer talk on here, but like, what are we going to see in the next week? Let's go through the rumours as they are. Maguire to West Ham may be back on. Maybe they found a solution. We'll see about that one. I think the variance in wages is going to be a big problem. There's maybe Sofiane Amrabat. What else we heard about, Dan? Gravenberch. A lot of talks about that. He didn't play in Bayern's game yesterday, I don't think, but was asked about it. Those are the 3 main ones. Maybe would we bring in another defender if Maguire was sold? That might be. There's a few others they'd been looking at, Todibo and a few others. So we go through each of them. Maguire. He didn't come on yesterday with Varane complaining at half-time, apparently. Lindelof did. He is clearly preferred Lindelof. So Maguire is 5th choice at the moment. It doesn't make any sense for him to stay at the club, except for £4 million a year for the next 2 years. And then if he thinks he should still be at that wage and he's going to sign a 5-year contract, it's also the following wages for that. So that's quite a variance. You reckon it'll get done?
I mean, I have no intel, so it's really hard to say. But just looking at it, I don't understand why Maguire wouldn't be doing everything he could to leave. And it just feels like there's got to be a point at which the confluence of interests can get United whatever they need for FFP for it to work, for Maguire to get enough of what's due to him or enough of what he's happy to take from what is due to him. And I'm not judging him for this, by the way. I don't care. It's up to him to do what he wants. And an amount that West Ham will pay, it feels like somewhere in the middle of that, there should be something that they can agree to if everyone still wants to move.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.